Good afternoon. My name is Mark Krutis. I'm a lawyer from Richmond. I'm with the Krutis Law Firm. And let me just give it a second for them to go by. Just about an hour ago, we filed a $10 million lawsuit in connection with the death of Darryl Becton. Darryl Becton was a 46-year-old young man that was held at the Arlington County Detention Facility. He did not receive the medical care that he needed, and as a result, he died tragically very shortly after he went there. This is a preventable death, as the lawsuit points out. The family are here with me to express how deeply this has affected them. What I'd like to do, I think, is a brief introduction of the family. Then I'm going to speak substantively, and then the family members are going to speak also. And we'll all answer your questions as best as we can. So Monique Ford is the administrator of the estate of Darryl Becton. And then I also should introduce to you J.D. Spain, who is with the Arlington County, walking away from it, the Arlington County NAACP. But let's have Monique do the introductions first, and then I'll speak substantively, and then J.D. will chime in too.
Good afternoon. I'm Monique Ford, Darryl Becton's sister. We have family members here. Mom, Deborah Pugh. We have me, Monet Jackson, Devontae Milan, nephew. We have Adrian Pugh, sister, Kayla Becton, daughter, cousin, Janae Pugh, Uncle Ben, uncle, we have Aunt Jeanette, we have daughter, Destiny, grandma, Lee Pugh, Davon, son of Darryl Becton.
Thank you. I'll speak substantively first, and then we'll switch over to that. What happened was Mr. Becton, who I said was 46, came to the Arlington County Detention Facility on September 29th, about a year and a half ago. When he came in, he stated as part of the intake process that he suffered from a dependency to opiates. He specifically told both the correctional people and the medical people that he had experienced withdrawals in the past. And indeed, Mr. Becton had been at the facility previously for small violations. He was being held at the facility for a supposed probation violation. While he was going through intake, he not only disclosed that he had a dependency upon opiates, he also said that he suffered from cardiovascular disease and hypertension. Hypertension is high blood pressure. All of these things were noted in the medical and jail records when Mr. Becton had been brought in. Indeed, they were part of previous records that had been held there. Mr. Becton was originally placed into a regular cell at the ACDF, the Arlington County Detention Facility, also referred to it as the jail. However, on the early morning of October 1, at about 4 o'clock in the morning approximately, Mr. Becton started to become ill. And he indeed made the statement, which was reported in the medical record, that he is suffering withdrawals, and that was noted specifically in the record. In a jail setting, the deputies and the medical people are used to dealing with these types of circumstances. They initiate something called a COWS protocol, which is a clinical opiate withdrawal scale. Essentially what happens is the nursing practitioners will rate the individual with regard to how they appear at the time. They'll take their vital signs, but they'll also make a determination as to whether or not they look nauseous, whether or not they're pale and the like. Although a COWS protocol was supposed to be initiated, the nurse actually wrote it down as a SIWA protocol, which is a alcohol protocol, which is slightly different than that. But regardless of that, the Gauss protocol was not initiated when Mr. Becton first came into the facility, despite the medical and nursing staff and the correctional staff knowing full well that he was going to be suffering from withdrawals in a short period of time. Also, they did not put him on any type of proactive treatment protocol for the withdrawal. And I should add that at the Arlington County Detention Facility, the sheriff, Beth Arthur, is charged with the responsibility for the health and welfare of the inmates and the safety of everybody in the facility. She had, or actually the county had hired an independent contractor, Corizon Health Incorporated, to provide medical services at the jail and nursing services. So as I told you, Mr. Becton started to become very ill on the morning of October 1, and I'm talking very, very early morning hours at about 4 o'clock in the morning. He was given a small amount of medication, which occurred at around 6 o'clock in the morning, but from 6 a.m. all the way until 4:16 in the afternoon, he was essentially left uncared for, untreated, and alone. There were correctional officers that were assigned to do periodic rounding in each of the cell areas. They wrote down electronically that they were performing the rounds, but they noted nothing about Mr. Becton's circumstances. We know what those circumstances were. He became violently ill. He was, the record shows that he was suffered from diarrhea, nausea, hyperemesis, which is a extreme form of vomiting that was occurring. He looked pale. He needed medical help, but it was not provided to him. And the correctional officers that had the obligation to check on him and their superiors really did nothing in connection with this matter. As you probably know, one of the defendants in connection with this matter, Antoine Smith, LPN, has been charged criminally with falsifying a record in connection with his duties with Corizon Health. We believe that that falsification was in connection with Mr. Becton's record, and it was a material falsification. We also know that there are large amount of discrepancies with regard to the records that we received in connection with this matter. People are saying that they are rounding on Mr. Becton at the same time that Mr. Becton is actually at a different part of the facility or at the court. So Mr. Becton became, as I said, violently ill. He did not receive the medical care that he required from either the medical director, the nurses that were assigned to the unit, the correctional officers that came into contact with him. At approximately 4:16 in the afternoon, a counselor that was visiting the medical area of the jail went up to cell number 7, which is the cell that Mr. Becton was in. And he looked in, and he was concerned about Mr. Becton because he did not appear to be responsive. So note, it's a counselor coming in episodically that day that discovered Mr. Becton's illness for the very first time. I mean, that he was unresponsive. He called for a nurse, and then the nurse summoned the correctional officer to open the cell. They went in, and they found Mr. Becton to be unresponsive, without a pulse. His oxygenation levels were at 49%. Normal is about 95%. And he was cool to the touch, indicating that he may have been unresponsive for a long period of time. The EMS arrived, and Mr. Becton was tragically declared dead about 45 minutes later. This, as you all know, is not the first death at the Arlington County Detention Facility. It's not the first death of an African-American man at that facility. Beth Arthur is charged with the responsibility of the safety and wellness of all of the individuals in there. It's very important for you to know this, that when any of us become ill, we, on our own or our loved ones, can take us to a patient first, to a hospital. We can get the care that we need. when you're in a jail, you are totally dependent upon others to provide that care for you. That care, we allege in our lawsuit, was not provided. There are a number of individual defendants that are named in connection with this. Of course, the organization Corizon Health Incorporated is named. The doctor, the medical director of the facility, 3 nurses are named. Beth Arthur, the sheriff, is named, and 1 of the deputies are named. We also note the wrongful conduct of a number of other deputies that we assert in connection with the lawsuit. There are 4 counts that are alleged in connection with the claim: negligence, gross negligence, willful and wanton negligence, and a federal civil rights claim, a 1983 claim. Federal civil rights claims can be brought in circuit court or in federal court. We've opted to file this one here. I've talked about the systemic problems that have occurred at this jail. Let me now turn to Mr. Spain, the head of the local unit of the NAACP, to address that, and then we'll then turn to the family members to speak too.